What secret did Jesus share with Pontius Pilate to let him publicly wash his hands, to show that he was not part of the crucifixion and the calamity that awaited those who were seeking his innocent blood? Not only that, why did he allow Nicodemus and co. to get Jesus' body down from the cross to give him a proper burial according to the Jewish custom demands? We are here for this, so let's get straight into it. Subscribe to get all the latest videos from our channel. Thank you. According to some traditions and interpretations, Jesus and Pontius Pilate had a private conversation during which Jesus shared insights that influenced Pilate's actions. This secret or revelation may have led Pilate to symbolically wash his hands to demonstrate his disassociation from the crucifixion of an innocent man. It is believed that Jesus conveyed a sense of his divine mission and the innocence of his actions, leading Pilate to attempt to absolve himself of the moral responsibility for Jesus' death. Pilate's decision to allow Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea to take Jesus' body down from the cross and give him a proper burial according to Jewish customs further reflects Pilate's recognition of Jesus' significance and innocence. This act of leniency ensured that Jesus received a respectful burial, which was an important aspect of Jewish tradition. The Gospel narrative suggests that Pilate was conflicted about sentencing Jesus to death and sought to appease the crowd while mitigating his own guilt. By allowing the burial rites to proceed according to Jewish customs, Pilate hoped to show respect for Jesus and his followers, while maintaining order and avoiding further unrest. This stance he took made him a shaking leader, unable to hit the nail on the head, whereby he could directly put a stop to this inhuman act which was coming upon the Son of Man. The interaction between Jesus Christ and Pontius Pilate is one of the most pivotal and captivating moments in the Christian narrative. It encapsulates a profound exchange between two vastly different figures, a Roman governor and a Jewish teacher. This encounter has theological significance, historical context, and human drama. Pilate, a man of immense authority and power, is thrust into the critical role of adjudicating the fate of a man proclaimed by many to be the Messiah. In the biblical accounts, it is said that Pilate was reluctant to condemn Jesus. According to the four Gospels, that's in Matthew, as in Matthew's chapter 27, verse 19. Pilate's wife sent him a message urging him to have nothing to do with Jesus, whom she referred to as a righteous man. Then in 27 verse 24 it says, Pilate washed his hands before the crowd, declaring himself innocent of Jesus' blood. And what we have to know here is, Jesus heard and saw all that was going on. So could it be that he would forgive Pontius Pilate and let him enter his kingdom for this? In Luke 23:4-25, Pilate found no basis for the charges against Jesus and sent him to Herod, who also found no guilt in him. Despite declaring Jesus innocent, Pilate succumbed to the crowd's demand for crucifixion. But before he decided to go with the crowd on the matter, he took Jesus to his chambers to secretly interrogate him and know why his own people wanted him dead. Only a few parts of their conversation came in the Bible, but most of this discussion is recorded in a book called the Gospel of Gamaliel. First, let's see what was said in the Bible when he took him to his chambers for that small meeting. As Pilate, trembling with fearful emotion, sat down by the side of Jesus, he inquired, "Where do you come from? Really, who are you? What is this they say, that you are the Son of God?" But Jesus could hardly answer such questions when asked by a man-fearing, weak and vacillating judge who was so unjust as to subject him to flogging, even when he had declared him innocent of all crime, and before he had been duly sentenced to die. Jesus looked Pilate straight in the face, but he did not answer him. Then said Pilate, "Do you refuse to speak to me? Do you not realize that I still have power to release you or to crucify you?" Then said Jesus, "You could have no power over me except it were permitted from above. You could exercise no authority over the Son of Man unless the Father in heaven allowed it. But you are not so guilty, since you are ignorant of the gospel. He who betrayed me and he who delivered me to you, they have the greater sin." This last talk with Jesus thoroughly frightened Pilate. This moral coward and judicial weakling now labored under the double weight of the superstitious fear of Jesus and mortal dread of the Jewish leaders. Again Pilate appeared before the crowd, saying, "I am certain this man is only a religious offender. You should take him and judge him by your law. Why should you expect that I would consent to his death because he has clashed with your traditions?" Pilate was just about ready to release Jesus when Caiaphas, the high priest, approached the cowardly Roman judge and, shaking an avenging finger in Pilate's face, said with angry words which the entire multitude could hear, "If you release this man, you are not Caesar's friend, and I will see that the emperor knows all." This public threat was too much for Pilate. Fear for his personal fortunes now eclipsed all other considerations, and the cowardly governor ordered Jesus brought out before the judgment seat. As the master stood there before them, he pointed to him and tauntingly said, "Behold your king." And the Jews answered, "Away with him, crucify him." And then Pilate said, with much irony and sarcasm, "Shall I crucify your king?" And the Jews answered, "Yes, crucify him. We have no king but Caesar." And then did Pilate realize that there was no hope of saving Jesus, since he was unwilling to defy the Jews. This marks the end of the trial of Jesus according to Scripture. Now this may seem like some little conversation, but the words that Jesus said to Pilate were far more fearsome than this, according to the Gospel of Gamaliel, a prominent Pharisee and respected teacher of Jewish law. He is mentioned in the New Testament. Gamaliel is significant because he was a member of the Sanhedrin, the Jewish ruling council, and is noted for his wise and moderate stance during the early spread of Christianity. He famously advised the Sanhedrin to exercise caution in dealing with the apostles, suggesting that if their movement was of human origin, it would fail, but if it was from God, they could not stop it. Acts 5:34-39. The Gospel of Gamaliel, an apocryphal text, provides additional insight into the trial and crucifixion of Jesus, particularly focusing on the interaction between Jesus and Pilate. According to this narrative, Jesus revealed to Pilate the impending calamities that would befall those involved in his condemnation. In the Gospel of Gamaliel, Pilate's wife, Claudia Procula, experiences a disturbing and prophetic dream. In her vision, she sees catastrophic events linked to the condemnation of an innocent man. Terrified, she wakes up and immediately sends a message to her husband, urging him to avoid involvement in the judgment of Jesus. This is what she wrote: "My dear husband, I implore you, do not harm this righteous man. Last night, I was visited by a dreadful vision. The heavens darkened, and the earth quaked. Angels mourned, and a voice declared the innocence of the man you are about to judge. His blood shall bring calamity upon us all. Have nothing to do with this just man, for his death will bring divine wrath upon our household and our land." Pilate, already uneasy, is deeply troubled by his wife's plea, adding to his growing sense of unease about condemning Jesus. In a private conversation, Jesus speaks openly about the future consequences of his death. Pilate, seeking to understand who Jesus truly is, questions him. Jesus' responses provide Pilate with a glimpse into the calamities that will follow his decision. Jesus' prophetic words according to this book were, Even though the power has been given to you by my Father, which is in heaven, that you can condemn or release me, know that your decision will echo through eternity. The blood of the innocent cries out for justice. If you condemn me, you will set into motion events that will bring destruction upon this city. Jerusalem will be laid to waste, and not one stone will be left upon another. The leaders who seek my death, Annas and Caiaphas, will face their downfall. They will not escape judgment. And you, Pilate, will carry the burden of this decision for the rest of your life. Darkness will cover the land, and the earth will tremble for the Son of Man you crucified. These words deeply impact Pilate, making him reconsider his stance. The fear of divine retribution and the prophetic vision of calamities weigh heavily on his mind. The Gospel of Gamaliel details the calamities Jesus foretold would follow his unjust execution, and everything he said also came to pass.